So, and there are trains, I guess. They use trains as transportation a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes because of the economics or the eco-awareness that you said?
I think it's both, because it's more eco-friendly and also because it's more efficient. Like, they use railroads a lot more than us. Like, if you want to go to Milan, you can easily take a train, and it's faster, it's better. Like, overall, I think it's a better form of transportation, and they use it more.
Did you go to the schools with your hosts?
Yeah, we went to their schools 2 times, I think. Like, we entered class 2 times. Their school is a very old building. I think it was like 500 years old.
Oh.
And it had a very different look with like pillars and stuff. There was a garden in the middle, and for example, there was a library upstairs with books from 1900, like a century old books. And the school was about as big as our school, but their education system is also, I think, a lot different, because, for example, like, I think the students are less stressful when compared to Turkey, because if you ask, we asked the 12th grader, like, what do you feel on your last year? Like, do you feel stressful? And they said, like, it's our last year, so we might as well enjoy it. But if you ask that to a Turkish student, you know, they can't really say that they are enjoying their last year, because they are too busy studying like 5-6 hours a day.
But do they study hard, and do they have anxiety in the past? Did they have anxiety in the past years? Did you ask them about that?
I didn't, but I think the way they study is also very different, because in Turkey, the classic method of studying is just solving a bunch of textbooks. But in Italy, it's usually like revision, and like they don't have textbooks. They don't have to finish 3 math books by the end of the year. The way they do things in the class, do things with homework, are a lot different compared to us. And I think it's a bit more modern, maybe.
But don't you think, when sometimes, even if it is harder in Turkey to study, don't you think when they are relaxed and more happy, don't you think they lack discipline?
Yeah, I think Turkish students would be more disciplined, but I think the main reason is like Italy is a first world country, and in Turkey we have to study harder, but in Italy they don't have as much stress as the average Turkish person does.
But you know, you never know what is going to happen to you. You don't know if you're guaranteed something in Italy.
Yeah.
Maybe something bad will happen and you'll have to go somewhere bad. And when that comes to you, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Now at least you are prepared for what is coming to you in life. I think that's a better way.
Yeah, true. But they also like don't have to worry as much about their jobs, because the employment rate is a bit higher, and the wages are better. Like in Turkey, it's very hard, nearly impossible to live in minimum wage in most areas. But in Italy, like even if you don't have a job, I think there is a wage for people who are looking for jobs that are not employed yet, but like it's enough for living. And the minimum wage is of course much better, much more it's enough to live, it's enough to get what you need compared to Turkey.
So, where did you tour?
We visited Milano and Venice, mainly, the whole group. And we first went to Milano, which was a big city, but not like Istanbul. Like, it had very fancy buildings with like very professional architecture, but unlike Istanbul, there weren't like many skyscrapers, and it looked a lot different than any city in Turkey, basically. Like, we went to the Dome of Milan, which is like the symbol of the whole city, and it was a massive building with a lot of statues. It took 100 years to construct, apparently, and there was like a bazaar, a very crowded bazaar with like very expensive shops. Like, we couldn't even get in, and basically we walked around there. We found a pizza place to eat, and then basically that was it. We went back, and then the other day we went to Venice, and in Venice, there are a lot of canals. It looks like it was flooded with water, and it has a very beautiful view, but it's very crowded and it has very tight streets. So, but overall, like, it was a really beautiful trip, and the food was great too. Like, in Venice, we had like a spaghetti with mussels and other seafood, and it was really good. And we didn't stay much in Venice because you can't get your car in there. Like, you have to walk, and so we parked our bus at the other end of the city, walked to the other end to the shore, and then we had to walk all the way back. So we spent a lot of time walking. So we didn't have as much time to stay there, but I bought some souvenirs. There were like a lot of small shops where they make masks. It's a very unique thing. Like, there were so many mask shops everywhere. I bought a few of them, and we basically went back, and on Sunday we had time to spend with family, our hosts. So my host took me to the Como Lake, which is a very famous lake in Italy. Like, the special part is like it's a beautiful lake that is surrounded by a lot of greenery and mountains. So there's a great view, and we had a boat tour there. We tried some fish from the lake at a restaurant near the lake, and that was also a great place to visit.
Thank you, Erkan, for sharing your experiences with us and coming to this podcast.
And thank you for hosting me in today's episode. It was a great talk.
Thank you. That's the ending of another episode. See you next week with another Yaşam Tasarim experience episode. Peace out.